you ever wondered where superheroes such as Batman, Superman, or Spider-Man got their start? My name is Ethan Galt, and today I'm going to be talking about how comic books have evolved into billion-dollar movie franchises. I have conducted extensive research on the history of comic books and the history of comic book movies, as well as the popularity of these movies. The three main points I would like to discuss are the history of comic books, the first film adaptations of these comic books, and the billion-dollar movie industries that these comic books have turned into. But first, I'd like to begin talking about the history of comic books. Like me, I'm sure that many of you have seen at least one of today's comic book movies, but have not read the original comic book. According to thecomicbooks.com, the first comic book was called Obadiah Oldbuck, and it was written in 1837. In Europe, the English version of this comic book was written in 1941. The platinum age for comic books was from 1897 to 1938. This is also known as the superhero era for comic books, according to PBS.org. In this time period, superheroes such as Batman, Robin, Green Lantern, Superman, Captain America, and Captain Marvel were introduced. This era, however, ended after World War II. But during World War II, the first comic book film adaptation was released. According to Don Kay's 2018 article, the first comic book film adaptation was called The Adventures of Captain Marvel and was released in 1941. This movie lacked a cliffhanger ending and the expectation for a sequel like most comic books had at the time, but it did have flashy costumes, secret identities, and villains like today's comic book movies. The next movie to be made was Batman in 1943. In this film, the terms Batcave and Wayne Manor were introduced and have continued to be used in today's Batman films. In the 1960s, a new Batman movie and TV show was also made, making Batman a more popular character. The first Marvel Comics movie, then known as Timely Comics, was Captain America, and this movie was made in 1944. Superman did not reach the big screen until 1948. When Superman came out, it was released weekly as movie shorts. Superman also became a popular TV show in later years. These early comic book adaptations have since evolved and become the billion-dollar movie franchises as we know them today. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, the DC Extended Universe, and the X-Men series have become some of the most popular movie franchises to this date, according to thenumbers.com. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has made 23 movies since 2008 and has totaled $22.6 billion total. Its top grossing movie was Avengers Endgame, which made about $2.8 billion. 5 movies are expected to be released by 2022 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The DC Extended Universe has made 8 movies since the year 2011. It has totaled about $6 billion. 5 movies are expected to be released by 2022. However, none of their previous movies have passed the $1 billion mark. According to Travis Bean's 2019 article, the X-Men have made a total of 12 movies since the year 2000, grossing about $6 billion, none of which have passed the $1 billion mark. There's one movie expected to come out this year for the X-Men series. And in Mark Bowden's 2018 article, he talks about how these comic book movies have become so popular and why they are popular. In 2017, 7 of the 11 top movies for that year were all superhero movies that originated from a comic book. Comic book movies are seen by hundreds of millions of people, but what makes them so popular is technology. Technology makes these films larger than life and grabs the audience's attention, pulling them in to see the amazing special effects of these movies. I would like to conclude with the following statements. We have talked about the history of comic books, the first film adaptations of comic books, and the billion-dollar movie franchises that these comic books have become. I hope I have entertained you today and informed you about how comic books have become billion-dollar movie franchises. maybe the next time you go see a movie, such as the upcoming Black Widow, Wonder Woman 1984, or The Eternals, you'll think about how these amazing motion pictures all started out as a simple comic book. Thank you.